So let's see how we can use a dynamic query. So for dynamic query, we have to declare a dynamic variable with a length of maximum. If you see on your left, we have two databases, sales database and customer database. And we have two tables that are common in both the databases called sales table in sales DB and sales table in customer DB. So we will be creating one dynamic query that will fetch the data from both of these tables. So let's first declare our query variable called SQL query, and we will give nchar maximum length. Then we will declare another variable called base name. Let's make it 20, and this we will use to hold the database name. Let's set the database name to the first table once. Set database name is equal to sales DB, and let's set our SQL query. SQL query. So for dynamic query, we have to write the SQL query in quotes. Select star from database name dot schema name dot table name. This is how we write a SQL query. The database name, we have to make it dynamic. So we are adding double like plus plus to add a variable, and we are passing our variable here. And to execute this SQL statement, we have to write execute SQL query. Let's try to execute it. Here we go. Now we can see the result. So it has fetched the data from the sales DB. So in the sales DB we have two records, but let's change the database name to customer DB and see what happens. So in the customer DB, the sales table has one record. So we can automate this, and let's create another variable database name 2, and here we can, in the first one, let's use sales DB, and here we can use a union, and we can use the same query but change the variable name. Let's create a variable name here. Let's try to execute this query. Now you can see we have fetched the data from both the tables and merged the data into one SQL statement result. So this is how we use a dynamic query.